Among the many historical figures in the Bible, Queen Esther stands as a symbol of courage, faith, and divine purpose. Her story is one of transformation, rising from humble beginnings to a position of great influence. Esther's journey, as recorded in the Book of Esther, demonstrates how faith and bravery can change the course of history. This story explores her life as queen and ultimately her legacy. Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Grandma Zipporah. I share Bible stories, Christian history stories, and also Christian testimonies. Please subscribe, and also I kindly ask you like this video. Thank you so much. God bless you. Esther, originally named Hadassah, was a Jewish girl born during the period of Persian rule. After the Babylonian exile, many Jews were scattered across the empire. And Esther's family was among those who lived in Susa, the capital city of Persia. Orphaned at a young age, she was raised by her cousin Mordecai, who became a father figure to her. Mordecai was a devout Jew and instilled in Esther the values of faith, humility, and wisdom. The Jewish people found themselves in Persia due to the Babylonian exile. In 586 BC, King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon conquered Jerusalem, destroyed the temple, and took many Jews captive to Babylon. Years later, the Persian Empire, under King Cyrus, overthrew Babylon. While Cyrus allowed some Jews to return to their homeland, many remained in Persia, where they established communities, including Mordecai and Esther's family. Before Esther became queen, King Xerxes, Ahasuerus, was married to Queen Vashti. During a grand banquet that lasted for days, Xerxes, in a display of his wealth and power, commanded Vashti to appear before him and his guests wearing her royal crown to showcase her beauty. However, Vashti refused to obey the king's command. This public defiance embarrassed and angered Xerxes, leading him to consult his advisors about the consequences of her disobedience. Fearing that Vashti's actions would set a precedent for other women in the kingdom to disrespect their husbands, the king's officials advised that she be removed from her position and a new queen be chosen in her place. Xerxes accepted this counsel, issued a royal decree that Vashti was never to appear before him again, and initiated the search for a new queen. Following Vashti's removal, King Xerxes ordered a search for the most beautiful young women in the kingdom. Esther was among those chosen to enter the king's harem, and underwent a year of beauty treatments before meeting the king. With the guidance of Mordecai, she kept her Jewish identity a secret. When her turn came, Esther won the king's favor more than all the other women, and he placed the royal crown upon her head, making her queen of Persia. Haman, a high-ranking official in King Xerxes' court, was an Agagite, likely a descendant of King Agag of the Amalekites, an ancient enemy of Israel. When Mordecai refused to bow to Haman, citing his Jewish faith, Haman became enraged. Rather than punishing only Mordecai, Haman sought to destroy all Jews throughout the empire. He convinced King Xerxes to issue a decree ordering their annihilation, claiming that the Jews followed their own laws and were a threat to the kingdom. When Mordecai learned of Haman's plot, he mourned in sackcloth and ashes and urged Esther to plead with the king for her people. Initially hesitant due to the law that forbade anyone from approaching the king uninvited, Esther was reminded by Mordecai that she may have been placed in her royal position for such a time as this. In response, Esther instructed Mordecai to gather all the Jews in Susa and declare a 3-day fast, during which she and her maidens would also fast before she approached the king. After 3 days, Esther put on her royal robes and stood in the inner court of the king's palace, hoping he would extend his golden scepter to spare her life. King Xerxes saw her and was pleased, extending the scepter, allowing her to approach. She touched the tip of the scepter, signaling her acceptance and safety. The king asked Esther what she wanted, offering even up to half his kingdom. Instead of making her request immediately, she invited King Xerxes and Haman to a banquet. At the banquet, Xerxes repeated his offer. Esther, still cautious, invited them to another banquet the following day, promising to reveal her request then. Haman left the banquet feeling honored, but his joy turned to rage when he saw Mordecai refusing to bow. At home, his wife Zeresh and friends advised him to build a gallows, about 75 feet high, to hang Mordecai. Haman ordered the gallows to be built that night, planning to ask the king for permission to execute Mordecai in the morning. That night, Xerxes couldn't sleep, so he had the royal records read to him. He discovered that Mordecai had previously saved him from an assassination plot, but had never been rewarded. Let me take you a little back. This was when actually Esther was queen. While at the gate, Mordecai overheard 2 of the king's eunuchs, Bigthana and Teresh, who were doorkeepers or chamberlains in charge of guarding the king's private quarters. These 2 men became angry with Xerxes and plotted to assassinate him. The exact reason for their anger is not stated in the Bible, but they were likely upset over a decision or treatment by the king. Since they had access to the king's chambers, they were in a position to carry out an assassination. Mordecai immediately informed Queen Esther about the plot. Esther, in turn, reported it to King Xerxes, giving credit to Mordecai for the discovery. The king ordered an investigation, and when the plot was confirmed, Bigthana and Teresh were hanged. The entire event is recorded in the Book of the Chronicles of the King, a record of important events in the Persian court. The next morning, Haman arrived to request Mordecai's execution, but before he could speak, the king asked him how to honor a man the king delights in. Thinking the honor was for himself, Haman suggested royal robes, a horse, and a parade. To his horror, the king ordered him to honor Mordecai in that exact way. Haman had to lead Mordecai through the streets, proclaiming his honor. At the second banquet, Esther courageously exposed Haman's wicked plot, saying to the king, "If I have found favor with you, your majesty, and if it pleases you, grant me my life. This is my petition. And spare my people, this is my request. For I and my people have been sold to be destroyed, killed, and annihilated." King Xerxes, enraged, ordered that Haman be hanged on the very gallows he had built for Mordecai. Although Haman was dead, his decree to annihilate the Jews was still in effect. Esther once again approached the king, falling at his feet and weeping as she begged him to reverse the edict. King Xerxes granted her request, allowing Mordecai to draft a new decree permitting the Jews to defend themselves. On the appointed day, the Jews triumphed over their enemies, and the festival of Purim was established to commemorate their deliverance. While the Bible does not explicitly mention whether Esther had children, Jewish tradition suggests that she and King Xerxes had at least one son, Darius II. However, historical evidence on this is uncertain. Esther remained in her position as queen, continuing to advocate for her people. Though the Bible does not provide details about her death, some traditions suggest that she lived a long life and passed away in Persia. Her courage and legacy continue to be honored through the celebration of Purim. Queen Esther's life is a testament to the idea that one person's bravery can shape the destiny of an entire people. Her faith in God, willingness to take risks, and wisdom in handling difficult situations make her a model of true leadership. Today, her legacy is celebrated through the festival of Purim, ensuring that her story of deliverance and courage is never forgotten. Thank you for staying with me to the end. Please subscribe and like. God bless you, and catch you in the next story.